But it's not as damn easy as all that. Like, your enemies don't come with jackboots and swastikas like this. No. It's just not that easy. I think what's happening at the moment is that there's a set of tripwires that have been put across the culture. And for a long time, if you went across these tripwires, you died, reputationally speaking. Because of the nature of the media, new media, among other things, that sudden death isn't possible anymore. Or at least it's not always possible.
Right.
So, for instance, if the New York Times says that Jordan is a sort of leading member of the Ku Klux Klan, it's not just that people don't believe the New York Times anymore, it's that they can go and find out for themselves that this is a lie. And that's a fundamental difference, and it means that people are surviving the tripwire experience. But there's a whole set of these tripwires, and I think they've been planted very strangely, among other things. I mean, the one I tripped on was the Islam one. I think to an extent it was the one you tripped on. Jordan, it was more to do with trans and pronouns was the first one. The great thing about this, by the way, is that once you survive the first tripwire, in my case, I sort of merrily jump along in no man's land, landing on IED after IED.
Right.
And strangely, I'm still here.
Yeah.
But you said I should steelman it. Here's what I think is probably happening. There is a fear that in this realm of uncertain values, which we might concede at any rate that we're in, there is only one thing we all agree on. The one thing we all agree on is we mustn't become Nazis. Okay? Broadly speaking, that's the basis of our ethics. It's the only bit of history anyone knows, and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
So they think they're all over the Hitler thing.
Right.
Haven't got a clue, most of them. All they know is Hitler's a bad person. This is why, by the way, anyone doesn't like in politics is Hitler. It's like George W. Bush, Hitler. If you had any sense of historical reference, you might say Henry V, domineering father whose shadow he had to step out of, for instance. But there, Henry V, Smith, who knows about that? So everything's Hitler. So if we agree that the one thing we're all meant to do is not become Nazis, you build these incredibly deep, big trenches around anything you think could be, as it were, something that would lead us back to that. The problem is that people who have done that trench building include people who are doing it for their own personal political gain. So they build a set of trenches around their political views, and they say, if you come near this, then you've trodden into that trench and you're a Nazi. Some of it is for short-term convenience, and I have no doubt that some of it is sincere. But the amount of lying about it makes me doubt that last bit. And let me add one other thing to that. One of the books I recommend people read most to do with politics is a brilliant book by Paul Berman, who I think you know as well, called Power and the Idealists. It has, by the way, the worst subtitle of any book. It's called Power and the Idealists, The Strange Passion of Joschka Fischer. Now, distinguished left-wing German politician though he is, it doesn't leap off the shelf. Anyhow, The Strange Passion of Joschka Fischer is an amazing book, which I wish was taught in schools, because he describes in this book how this group of Germans who grew up in the 1950s had one aim. The one aim was, we're not going to become like our parents. Okay. They think it's enough to orient their politics around. What happens? The Green Movement melds with a part of the German left, a whole set of things happen. They end up agreeing with the PLO and the hijackings in the late 60s and early 70s, and before you know it, one of Joschka Fischer's housemates is on the plane as it's on the tarmac, and he's separating out the Jews and the non-Jews. We've done it again. The one thing we were meant not to become was the people standing on the ramp saying,
right or left,
that way. And we did it. We went all the way around. So there's something about this that I just wish was better known. But it's not as damn easy as all that. Like, your enemies don't come with jackboots and swastikas like this. No. It's just not that easy.
All right, folks, Trav here. I have produced legendary conversations all around the globe. Canada, US, United Kingdom, Australia. And after a long night of discussions, I want to sit down and catch up on some cool intellectual content. But now that I'm in a new country, Netflix says, "Oh, I'm sorry, this content is no longer available." Enter Private Internet Access VPN, my intellectual companion. Private Internet Access VPN service is not just about unlocking Netflix or Disney Plus content, it's about unlocking a whole new world of intellectual exploration. Click connect and suddenly you have access to a conversation from the other side of the globe that you never even knew existed. This sponsorship with Private Internet Access VPN is about all of us in this community. It is going to allow us to produce more legendary events that will last for years to come. With over 30 million downloads and a no logs policy that has been proven in a court of law, your intellectual property remains yours. It's not just a VPN, it's your shield against unwanted surveillance. All you need is one VPN subscription to protect all of your devices. Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, you name it. With a mind-boggling Pangburn community discount for 83%, you're only going to be paying $2.03 per month. You also get 4 months free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. All you thinkers, debaters, and knowledge seekers, hit the link below to secure your new Private Internet Access VPN deal.